Hello, hello, guys. Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hi, Sue. Hi, Letitia. Hi, Donna and Brenda and Madeline. Oh, my goodness. And Emma. Let's say that again. Emma and Ann and Sue and Bonnie and Mary and Isabel. So good to see you guys on. Hi, Chris. Hi, Jean. Hello from Silver Springs. Hello, Linda. So over on YouTube, the first person to comment was Lori Skippington, and on Facebook, Lisa Cordovana, I believe. Anyway, send me a message and let me know what free ePacket you'd like off my website, okay? So, I just broke out in a massive sweat right before I went on live. I was hoping it would go away. Hi, Diana. Hi, Diane. Hi, Ellie and Karen. So good to see you guys on, and Janice. Yes, happy Sunday, happy travels. I know I have so much to do between now and when I leave. So if you don't know, I'm going to Turkey tomorrow. My brother-in-law retired from his job in Texas. He was a professor at a college for theater, and or he was the theater professor, and he moved overseas. He was going to move to Portugal, ended up in Turkey, and we weren't sure how long he was going to be there. So I thought, you know what, I've always wanted to go. I'm going to book a ticket. He'll be there a year. So I picked the time, probably the busiest time of year for me to go. However, I'm usually in Taiwan this time of year before pre-COVID. So I'm looking forward to going. I leave tomorrow night and I will be gone for, well, 7 days in country, but I don't get home till like late the 21st. So, and I'm going by myself. My husband is not going, just me. You're cutting off and on. Huh. Well, Brenda, there's nothing I can do, unfortunately. Mine hasn't glitched at all, so it might be your Wi-Fi system or Facebook or whatever, since you're on Facebook. Maybe go off, come back on. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. It's so annoying, I know. So annoying. Can't believe you're alive today with all you need to do. I know, Judy, right? For a brief moment, I thought about rescheduling, but I already had it done. So, but I do need to get off here and do a new design tonight because I have to have it done by tomorrow. So, we'll see. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Yours isn't glitching. That's great to know, Carol. Thank you. Yes, so if it's mine, it usually will show up for everyone to see. And if it's y'all's, it's usually just one here or there. So, hi, Georgie. Great to see you too. Oh, Chris, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, and maybe even over, you can switch over on YouTube as well. Again, mine hasn't done it yet, so fingers crossed, right? Whew, I'm hot. You're clear in Minnesota. That's good to know. You're getting ready for net. I have Tim Holtz needs to invent a heat gun operated with batteries. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it, Karen? I don't know how much heat you'd get from it, but hi, Molly Ann. Hi, Debbie. So, I'm not worried about it. I know you're not, Chris. You're so easygoing. Okay. So, a couple more minutes. So, what a weird, wacky, sad, busy, sad week, right? With the passing of Her Majesty the Queen. And I did bring the royals in with me today. A couple of years ago at the OKC Painting Palooza, they had a tea party was the theme. And in our booth, mine, Tracy Moreau, and Deb Antonick's booth, we had cutouts of the royals for people to be able to take pictures with. And then we had our English hats that I got when I lived in England. And anyway, I just thought it was fitting to have her face there with us today. And sad time, I know, for their family and for her country and for the people that she is over, her territories, and it's sad. It's the end of an era. It's the end of an era. Hello, can't say that word. And I was quite emotional and sad about it because I have a very soft spot in my heart for England. And all my friends after living there for 6 years. So it was a sad day. And then of course today, September 11th, which is a day I don't think we should ever forget in this country. And I think probably the thing that resonated with me most after the shock and PTSD and everything that comes along with September 11th was how united our country seemed at the time, and how sad it makes me today that we're so not. This is not political talk. Please do not put political talk in the comments because it will be deleted. I'm just saying it makes me sad in my heart that we're not more united like we once were after such a horrific, tragic day on September 11th. So anyway, whew, hot here, or hormones. Probably hormones, Carrie. Yay, you made it sort of. You're shopping, but you can still listen. Well, Linda, thanks for taking me along on your shopping trip. Not to seem disrespectful, but I can't be trying to figure out why Kate's picture had a hot water bottle on her head. Then I realized it's a hat. That's not disrespectful. Yes, it is. It's a really pretty hat. But it does look like a water bottle, doesn't it? So, and I have to apologize too, because last week, Janie Kaufman and Fran Langevin gave stars on Facebook, and thank you for those. Thank you for donating those. If you're not sure what they are on Facebook, or even over on YouTube, in the comment section, there's like a little $sign or star. And when you donate, that goes to the World's Health Kitchen, and that is, last time we donated $567. I don't know what it's up to now, because they do it every quarter. So when that quarter ends, I'll let you guys know what we're able to donate to the World's Kitchen. So great organization that will feed people in dire need, especially over in the Ukraine. So anyway, hi Debbie, hi Lisa. I know, sad, huh? We will never forget. And I just hope it gets to the point, or it doesn't get to the point where generations forget, because you know how as things go on, it's a little watered down or changed or different or not as important. It's such a monumental day for this country. But anyway, let's move on from there, because I could get a little emotional. So anywho's, YouTube is good. That's awesome. Donna Pulse, I sent you an email. I need to email you again. Okay, before I forget, I know I said it, but if you missed it, Lori Skippington, send me a message what ePacket you want, and Lisa Cordovana, hopefully I'm saying that right, what ePacket you would like. And hi, Linda Safranco, good to see you here. So like Judy said, I'm surprised you're here with everything you have to do before your trip, and so am I. But like I said, I already had it done, so I knew everything was prepped and ready. I just needed to sit down and paint with you guys. I wanted to check into before I left. What was the other thing and the other, I wasn't sure if I was going to, because for the last 2 days, I've had a headache. I had to get some immunizations up to date before I traveled. So got those done, but man, it gave me a wicked headache for 2 days. So thankfully it's gone. Woo, thank you. Oh, good, Lisa. I'm glad I said that right. So we need to continue to talk and tell stories. Yes. And never forget, where we were. I know my mom will still say where she was when JFK got shot, and many of you probably remember where you were. I was at the base gym with a girlfriend, and we were walking, and we just couldn't believe it. And then I was like in a panic, and I had to go get milk at the commissary. So if you're base people, military, you know what I'm talking about. And I needed to go get milk. I don't know why. I was in a panic. I don't know why I needed milk. So went and got milk, and then someone's running through the commissary saying someone, a plane just hit the Pentagon. And so I go home. My parents live in Germany at the time because my mom worked for the Army. And then my husband, who worked for the Air Force, could not get a hold of. and did not see him for the next 4 days. So, because they were on a secret remote something. So, because we were in Omaha, and that is the second place or the first place that the president goes, something, I don't know. Anyway, so he was not there. So, you were in biology class. Wow. Yeah. I'm sure you guys will all remember. Oh, no problem, Donna. Great. I just wanted to make sure you got the email. I just wanted to take care of some loose ends before I left. So, all right, guys, it's 3:10. That was real heavy, right? The first 10 minutes. We're just blazing with a whole bunch of stuff. So, still very sad. I was there when Princess Diana died in the UK, and I got to visit Buckingham Palace the Tuesday after she passed, because it was a tour that was already set up and arranged with the officers' wives group. I wasn't going to go because I had small kids, and my husband took off work so that I could go. And yeah, so sad. Sorry, referring to Karen, referring to JFK, you were in biology class. I get it. Yes, I understand. So, all right, guys, 3:11, let's get started. So we had some giveaways from the week before, or the week before, and there we had some brushes, and I haven't heard from you. So, Patty, send me a message with your mailing address so that I can get these off to you. Okay, can you see my pretty nails? I had my nails done. So I can have those done before I leave. Had a little pamper day with my hair. Oh my gosh, let's talk about the cost of getting your hair done. For all my female friends out there, how much does it cost for you to get your hair cut, colored, and highlighted? If you're willing to say. I'm almost embarrassed to say how much mine is, but okay. Then we had more giveaways. You were in 8th grade science class, Chris. Wow. Well, one thing, he probably was with my brother in the Air Force in undisclosed locations. Sue, yes, he was somewhere out and about that he could not tell me. In fact, he couldn't even call me. If I order the e-pattern, will I get it right away? Vicky, if you order the e-pattern, you will get it when we're done from this live, because I have to email it to you because my silly website is not set up to do an instant download. So, and while we're on that real quick, I leave tomorrow to go to Turkey. I need to have any orders that you're going to order. If you want to order on my website, let me see if I have that up here. Right there. Okay. So if you order the ePacket or anything else, even if it's on sale, you can use that discount code. But after noon tomorrow, any orders I receive, unfortunately, are not going to be shipped until the 23rd. Okay? So, I hate doing that, but it's me, myself, and I. So, and I have I am the shipping department. The shipping department manager is going to be out of the country. So, anyway. Okay, then we had some other brushes in our giveaway from last week. And we had, it's like a 3/4, but it's a 20 shader. But like a 3/4, number 14 and around. And the winner of those is Helen. Helen. So message me your mailing address, and I will get those out to you tomorrow. Okay, if you mail it or if you send it to me today, and I think I saw that you're over on YouTube. So private message me your mailing address. All right, Sue Braun. You just said heard from him 3 days later. He was at Offutt too. Was he, Sue? Oh, I didn't know that. Why didn't I know that? But yeah, mine was at Offutt at StratCom. And so, yep, didn't hear from him, I think around the same, 3 days. Okay, I just saw Sue's comment too on hair. That last time it cost $30 for you to get it cut. So my haircut, my color, and my highlights, I'm almost embarrassed to say it. I really am. I'm having a hard time getting it out of my mouth, but it was $150 without the tip. Now, I love my girl, but I push mine to the max, and I was pushing the gray to the max because I'm not spending that much money every 5 weeks. Sorry, not. So, before you decided to go all natural for a cut, color highlights close to 200 and 3 hours of your life, right? It does take some time, doesn't it? So, oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Yay, Helen, you got new brushes. Okay, the second, and I have to say I was excited when her name popped up because I personally know she has a birthday tomorrow. But it was the stamp, so the Christmas stamp, Tim Holtz stamp, and then this one, Snow Swirls, Stampendous. And if you haven't heard, unfortunately, Stampendous is closing their doors. And if you want any Stampendous stamps, when you see them, you better get them, because when they're gone, they're gone. So they've been flying out of my website. And from Georgia to all around the world. So anyway, so Stampendous. And those stamps go to Miss Pat Lynchy. Happy early birthday. I know your birthday's tomorrow. So anyway, message me your mailing address and I will get those off to you tomorrow. Okay. And then we also had some stencils. I was excited when I saw her name come up too because I missed this girl. I haven't seen her in forever. But it was for 3 of the M Square stencils. And the winner of those, Miss Vera. Message me your mailing address and I will get those out to you. In fact, I think I have it. But just to be safe, message it to me. Okay? So, we have some giveaways for today. I just let mine go white. I know, I'm not ready for that yet, Vicki. Thank you, Heidi. I will pay $150 any day to not be gray. Just my personal preference. I see some women that absolutely gorgeous as gray. I'm just not ready to go there yet. So I will someday. I think I almost would rather shave my head than go gray. Isn't that crazy? But then again, I'd miss my hair. Okay, we have giveaways for this week. And I'm going to go ahead and just put the camera down so that you guys can see the tabletop here. Okay, so we have 2 giveaways, and I thought I'd mix it up a little this time. So we have the French Marketplace stamp set. Tim Holtz, love this stamp set. Y'all see what that retails for? Okay. And then an M Square. This is, what is it? Buffalo Check. So those 2. And then Tombow Knockout Eraser and a medium Mezzaluna. So that's for 1 winner. And I will draw for winners on the next live, which is the 25th. And then the next one I have is, I had 1 of these left and I thought I'd go ahead and pull it. But it's the Sunflower Spray Stampendous stamp. Gorgeous, gorgeous stamp. And then again, the Buffalo Check stencil, the Mezzaluna brush, a medium, and a pink eraser. Okay, by Tombow. So, all you have to do to enter is like, comment, and share. And I'm going to move those right over there. Okay, thank you. I was fired as she decided to go. Oh, that's horrible, Karen. Just because she went gray? And someone said, Donna, you go to Great Clips on Tuesday for Senior Citizen Day. That's awesome. Okay, so our banner that I did, last week we did Grateful. Today I'm going to blaze through Thankful and Blessed. And let me just say, I am so thankful and so blessed and so grateful that you guys tune in on Sundays, or when I'm live, or when my membership group, when I meet with you guys. I just feel very loved and appreciated, and I appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedules to spend a little time with me, doing what I love. Okay, so we did this one last week. We're going to start with the pumpkin, and then we will go on to the sunflower, okay? So what I want to show, I'm going to zoom in here. Okay. I love sunflowers too, Debbie. They're so pretty, right? Oh, thank you, Bonnie. Okay, so last week I showed you how to do not only the background, the stamping, and for this one I used the Tim Holtz Papillon stamp. I have this on my website. Again, don't forget, anytime you order on my website, you can use ART, all capitals, throughout the rest of this year, and you can get a discount on my website. So I used this stamp, and you can see the video on my YouTube channel, how I did that, how I did the letters, how I did the banner, everything, okay? Because what we're going to do today is the pumpkin, the stem, the leaves, the little tendril, and the sunflower. All right, so let's go ahead and get our colors out. And I'm using this surface, which is phenomenal. Let me put up her website there for you. So Sheila Landry, let's get that on the gray so you can see it. tollpaintingdesigns.com, and it comes with 3, but she said you can order additional because I wanted to do, have my 3. Hello, where's the other one? And then have, in between, have a blank one or one like this hanging on my mantle, okay? So you can order additional, and I also have one that's Christmas related in the works, so that will be fun. Get out my disposable palette here. And then I want to get out some colors, so I'm going to get out tangerine and jack-o'-lantern. So let's get out a little bit of, that is jack-o'-lantern and some tangerine. So what I did first was I base coated the pumpkin and the words with warm white. And then I came and I shaded on the pumpkin with, shocker, asphaltum, because normally I would use Payne's Gray, but asphaltum. And then the leaf I did with antique green, okay? So, excuse me. So we're going to start with like an 8 flat, get it wet, and we'll pick up some of that tangerine. And what's cool about going over the shading is see how it keeps my sections. So I'm going to shade them again, but that just helps me keep that defined area and not lose it. Okay. And I'm not really going for pretty or full coverage. It doesn't have to be opaque. It's a pretty transparent color anyway. See how I'm fighting with that paint? Pick up a little bit of water in your brush. And we're just going to paint right over that shading and everything. So I will do that just to help myself, give myself some guidance. And be able to continue to start layering color, but still be able to see, again, those sections and areas that I need to see where they're divided. All right, so let's dry that. There will be a replay, Rosemary, here on my Sandy McTeer Designs Facebook page or on my YouTube channel. Right. Usually miss the live due to church. However, my 86-year-old aunt is evacuating for the fires. Oh gosh, Beth, I'm so sorry. I will certainly keep her in my prayers. Okay, now I'm going to switch to, let's do that 8 again. Rinse that out. I'm going to switch to some jack-o'-lantern. Get a little bit of water in my brush. I just like, these are transparent colors. I would say this one is a little bit, you can see it has a little bit more of a white content to it. Whereas this jack-o'-lantern is gorgeous and beautiful and orange. And so layering that over, let me just layer it halfway. Can you see the difference? It really just amps up that color. So I'm painting more of a wash than I am, you know, like heavy, heavy paint. Okay, water, a little water in my brush, painting a wash of color, and then we'll dry that. Linda Myers on the surface for the Christmas banner. I will have to let you know. I have another one, another of Sheila's surfaces, and I might change it over. Although I do love the shape of this one. Alrighty. So let's get a smaller brush here. Okay, so you saw that it was jack-o'-lantern and then, excuse me, tangerine and jack-o'-lantern. Let's go ahead and do the stem. And so for that, I'm going to do some asphaltum. Okay, let's get a little bit of that in there. And a touch of warm white. And then we're also going to get out a little bit of plantation pine for that leaf. A little citron green. You know what? I know I tell you guys all the time and then I forget. Make sure to take those little things off. Your paint will close much better. Throw that away before I step on it. Okay, and then I'm also going to get out some Tiger Lily. Okay, this is a new 2022 color. Absolutely love, love, love Tiger Lily. And all these colors are listed in the ePacket. And then I'm also going to get out a little bit of Sunset Gold and a little bright yellow. How's that for a lot of colors? I'll put that right over there. Alrighty. So we're going to take care of that stem first. And let me get a different brush. It's too big. So let's have a like a number 4 shader. And we will just get that stem based in with that asphaltum. And it kind of comes down at a little point, little point, little point. I like to make the stems look as rustic as possible. So let's zoom in just a touch. Hi, Anne. No apology necessary. Hello, Robin. Thank you. I love this pattern too. And hello, Jody from Connecticut. Happy Sunday. All right. I always want to make sure that that's cooled off before you go with your paint and brush right to it, or it will grab it right off that brush. All right, let's get our 3/8 angle damp. Let's see if I have a better one. I do right there. Okay. So we're going to pick up a little bit of that Tiger Lily. And if you don't have Tiger Lily, you could use Orange Flame would be pretty. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to float that color again right down in those sections. And just kind of pity pat that float, nothing real, you know, strong or stripy, Just put it on, and I'm just using a mop to soften it out. I'm going to load it up on that toe, work it in on the toe only, and bring that color right down. And again, just kind of soften it. A little bit behind that one. Okay, and then let's dry that just so it doesn't move. And then we'll pick up a little bit more. Thank you, Carolyn. Yes, I'm ready for some Christmas too. In fact, I do have a Christmas one I'm doing on Creative Innovations soon in November, a free little lesson. But we're going to start getting into some Christmas. Okay, so now I'm just going to float that color, and you see I'm just doing a small little, not really a circular motion, but almost like I'm writing the letter U. And I'm just going to pity pat that float of color at the base of that pumpkin. And then we'll dry it. Oops, you know what I want to do first? I want to soften it right there because I'm seeing a line. If you try and float over a wet float, a lot of times it picks it up and it will push it and make a line, which I kind of have a little bit there. A little bit more water. Okay, and then I'm just going to repeat that. Just kind of strengthen that color. Such a gorgeous, gorgeous orange. Okay. See? So it just kind of weights the bottom of that pumpkin. And then we're going to come back in with a little bit of asphaltum. So dry that. And then just get a little bit of water and come in with some asphaltum. And I'm going to strengthen up these sections again, just a little. Soften those out. So I know I asked it on my page the other day, but tell me in the comments, pumpkin spice or no? Fan or not? I am a fan of everything pumpkin spice. Everything. The drink, the pie, the candles, you name it. Okay, I'm going to get just a little bit darker there, so it goes around that back end, and then a little bit back here. There's a tiny, tiny, tiny little section. Let's see if you can see if I hold it up right there. Okay. And those little things just add to the dimension of your design. Okay, let's dry that. And I'm going to switch to a, no, not. Oh, too funny. It is one of those things that you either love it or you don't, right? Or I know some people like the pie but don't like the drink. So, all right, let's go to a 1/2 inch angle. And a little bit more asphaltum. Now I want to show you something when you're loading your brush to float color, okay? So if I sit here and I just push it all to this one side, see how dark that is? That's the color that's going to be on my brush. Whereas, if I load it and then I start moving to the right a little bit, see how the color starts to dissipate? That way your float's not going to be as dark. So if you tend to get your floats too dark, walk it out. It's called walking your float. Just walk it out just a little to get it to where you like it and want it. It's easier to build up the layers than to put heavy floated color on and not like it and have to get it off. Okay? And then I'm just going to go right back over that tiger lily. weight that pumpkin at the bottom. Need a little bit more water. I'm sitting here struggling with that paint. Okay, we will dry it. Again, what that's going to do is just going to weight the bottom of your pumpkin and make those highlights really, 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 really pretty. Which I'm going to dry brush on because I love the way they look dry brushed. Okay, so we'll get that nice and cool. All right, so the stem, I'm going to show you. I do have some green in it. So I started with some asphaltum just as my base, and I'm going to paint with, and to be honest with you, I don't even know what it says in my directions. It's typically how I paint them, so I'm hoping that's exactly how I have it in there, but a little bit of asphaltum, and then I'm going to pick up a little warm white. Okay, so I have asphaltum and white, and I'm going to do just a tiny little stroke right there to separate the top part that's cut from the stem, and then I'm going to just slide on that chisel edge, little S strokes, and put some little strokes on there. Okay. Then rinse that off. I'm going to take that same brush, I rinsed it out, I'm going to pick up some plantation pine. So I have water in my brush, and I'm just going to paint a wash of plantation pine right over that. I can always brighten up those little S strokes. I just want it to look like it's twisted. One piece of pie once a year is okay. Love to paint them, not eat them. I do love a good piece of pumpkin pie, but it has to have Cool Whip on it. All right, now let's get out a little bit of Payne's Gray. You can use regular Payne's Gray. This is my go-to Payne's Gray for just about everything, the media line. And it's intermixable, so it's not going to hurt anything to mix it with your regular acrylics because it's an acrylic paint. So a little bit of asphaltum on the toe of my 3/8 angle. Work that in. A little touch of Payne's Gray, and I'm just going to work that in and work both colors in on the toe. And then I'm going to come right over on this side and float that color. Okay, it needs to be a little darker. Right, and then I'm going to put a little bit right up underneath that white line that I put on before, slightly just touch it. And then I'm going to come back with my small mezzaluna. If you're not familiar with mezzaluna brushes, my favorite brushes to dry brush with. They do come with these little stickers that annoy me, so I always peel them off. Get that over there. But it is a really nice, stiff and slightly stiff bristle that will dry brush color on for you. So I'm going to use a little bit of that warm white, load it up, and you do like a stencil brush. Load it up, wipe it off. So I'm going to load it up, work it in, wipe it off. And then I am going to, on the chisel edge of it, I'm going to just highlight some of these little S strokes, okay? And then right inside here, I'm going to put just a little bit of that white right inside the top, like where it's sliced that stem. Come back with a little bit of plantation pine and just put some of that green right on there, okay? So that's pretty much our stem. Now, what I did is I see when I extended that out, when I base coated it, is different. You know, it comes out a little bit further there than I do on my original. But guess what? I like it. And my number one rule in painting is if you like it, leave it. If you don't, figure out a way to fix it. So, but I like that. So I'm just going to leave that and it's good to go. All right, let's start on this leaf. We're going to come back and dry brush some highlights on there. But I want to take that 3/8 angle. Oh, D, I am not a fan of sweet potato at all. Not at all. Not my fave. Okay, so on the toe of that 3/8 angle, I'm going to pick up some plantation pine. I don't like the casserole sweet potato, and I don't like just sweet potatoes. Like sweet potato fries, ugh, not my thing. So that was plantation pine. Then I'm going to do plantation pine and a touch of Payne's gray just to darken it. And again, just at the base of that leaf, and then along the bottom of that leaf. So pick up a little bit more plantation pine, Payne's gray, right on the toe of that brush. And then let's just soften that. Quite a bit of water in there. Okay, let's dry that. And then I'm going to take that brush and I'm going to go put a vein right in the center. I love that heat tool. Love it. I'm going to switch to a 1/4 inch angle and do that vein. I want it to be a little more curved. And my 3/8 angle's a little on the big side to do that. So I'm gonna there we go. Okay, not as curved as I'd like. All right, so you love sweet potato fries and baked, but nothing on them. Yeah, ugh, just not a fan. Okay. Excuse me. So we have out some citron green, this bright, pretty green here. All right, and so we're just going to highlight a little bit of that, a little bit of warm white on the toe of my brush. And again, I just have that 1/4 inch angle. Work that in. I'm just going to slide that across my paper towel just so that it's not so much paint. And this is something that because I brush mix, I just pick up a little bit of this, a little bit of this. This time I picked up a little bit too much warm white, but I'm going to go with it and then tell you why. Because see how bright and light that is? What's going to happen when I let it dry and put some more citron on there, the citron green is really going to pop. Okay. And then we'll pick up a little bit more. We're just going to float that highlight right down that center. Well, hello. Center of that leaf. Just like that. You could even take that citron and a little bit of that warm white, and come in and highlight a little bit of those a little more if you needed to. Okay. And then I'm going to come back with that citron green just on its own. And look how pretty that green is. Okay, it really just pops and shines. A little there. Okay. Now let's do some dry brushing. So I'm going to come back to that small mezzaluna, pick up some of the citron green and a little bit of warm white, work that in, wipe it off. And I'm going to highlight just a little dry brushing highlight right here, just to soften that out a little bit, and just a pop of it over on this side. Okay, I'd like to have just a little bit on each side. Quite the line there, Sandy. Okay. And then with my liner brush, I took that plantation pine, plantation pine, a little bit of citron green. I'll just work that in. Tiny touch of warm white. And we'll just do a little highlight. Oops. A little more warm white. Just a little highlight on the leaf. So let me show you that. Just that tiny little decorative, highlight. And then I'm going to make this one stand out a little bit more just on the front, right along that stem. Okay. All righty. Now let's go back to our pumpkin. So I'm going to take that mezzaluna brush. Actually, I'm going to switch to the medium. And we will pick up some warm white. You could use small if you wanted to. Warm white and some sunset gold. Now, sunset gold is another new color this year. Decor came out with, and oh my gosh, I love it, love it, love it. So as you can see, I'm doing on the palette there. I just mixed it together, and I'm going to wipe almost all of it off. I'm going to build up some of these layers, and I'm going to dry brush. I don't know why I started there, because typically, as my rule of thumb, I'll start in the middle because it would be brighter there, and not knowing what paint is on my brush or what's going to come off. It's always just a good idea to start where you know it's going to be brighter. So a little bit on that section. And look how that just brought that forward. A little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. Small little circular motions. Maybe a little bit down there. Okay, so that was with the sunset gold and warm white, and now we're going to do some bright yellow and warm white. Wipe that off. And start soft little touch to begin with. Oop, wiped off too much, Sandy. A little highlight. A little highlight. Okay. I have a line there that's driving me crazy. So we're going to take care of it. A little wash of paint. Just get a brush. There we go. A wash, I just love what a wash does. It just kind of brings everything together, softens it a little bit more, makes those colors make sense. Okay. Now let's go in with a little bit. I'm going to do a little bit more warm white. I still have that bright yellow, and just do a brighter area there, maybe there and there. Again, soft little circular motion. And then I just came in with some titanium white. All right, so just a little brighter. Load that up. And I'm not going to wipe as much off. I'm just going to swipe it across my paper towel. And on the chisel edge, so the rounded part of the tip, I'm just going to slide. Just get a nice little highlight. Okay, just get a nice brighter little highlight there. And then if you wanted it more more along the lines of tiger lily or even jack-o'-lantern, you can put a wash. So I can see I have a little bit more of that tiger lily, and I love the way that that color looks. So I am going to add some of that back in. So a little on the toe of that 3/8 angle. Okay. And this time, instead of going in that darker section, I'm going to come right onto that section, but it's at the edge. That tiger lily is at the edge. I'm just going to flip my brush over. It's a little wet. Oh yeah, I like that. Okay. It is a beautiful color, isn't it? Do you have technique videos? Mixed within all my other videos, yes. So now let's weight the bottom of this pumpkin just a little bit more. And surprisingly, and I don't even know if I have this in the directions, but I'm going to use a little bit of Doxine Purple, believe it or not, just a touch, like a touch. Okay, and I want to get some asphaltum. And to answer your question too, Vicki, in a better way, I would love to have more. Just got to figure out the time to make that happen. It is one thing that I get to share a lot with my membership group. A little bit more is on a more regular basis is techniques. So, okay, so that's just more asphaltum. All right, again, look how it weights the bottom of that pumpkin. But now we're going to add just a touch of purple. Okay, so a little purple. Work that in on the toe of my brush. You can see that on the corner of the screen on my palette. A little too much. Just a little. Okay, there we go. Digging that. Okay, so my leaf, my little tendril that I have here that got a little misshapen when we put that leaf on. So let's just get that right back out there. And then I'm just going to take some citron green and some warm white or titanium white, doesn't matter. A little bit of water in there to get it to move. And we're going to highlight just parts of this little tendril. Okay, not all of it, but just little parts to give it a little highlight here and there. And I do want to, since I did a wash there, I want to bring a little bit of that line back. And then the line down my center. Oh, did you see that water come right off? Those ferrules hold so much water. You gotta be careful. Okay. So on the lesson last week that I did with the acorns, the live, I showed you how to do the letters and shade them and then do the painting at the bottom. So I'm not going to do that today, but I'm digging this one, and let's do a little shading. Okay, so we're going to come in with a very small brush, like a number 2 or a number 4. Get a little water in your brush, a little bit of Payne's Gray, and that's going to be a little dark, so I'm going to put more water. See how it's thinned out? And then we're going to do a little shading. So we'll put a little bit right up underneath that stem and the leaf and the tendril. Now this, see if you can see that on camera. Okay, so a little under to there, there, Okay, so that that tendril looks like it's up and above that surface. And then just down here, I'm just going to do a little bit of shading over here. And maybe down that side of the pumpkin. Okay. And when you do that, if there's anywhere that, like the frame got messed up, you know, the border that we put on, you can always come back with some black and put a little bit of that black on. I do want to beef up one thing, a little bit more white. It's almost like a little line. Okay. All right, so that is our thankful. Digging that. We'll move that to the side. And then on to our sunflower. All righty. So, got those. My brush is on the left-hand side of me. All is right with the world when that happens. My palette is on my right-hand side. My brushes are on my right-hand side. Just makes it much easier. All right, so on the sunflower, the words done the same way that I did on the video last week. The leaf is base coated with antique green. The petals are with a mix, and I just brush mix, so it's not down to one color. A little bit of warm white, a little bit of bright yellow. I just mix those both on my brush and I paint the petals. And then I do a second coat. When I do the second coat, I tend to add a little bit more bright yellow because yellows are transparent. So we want to just make a barrier between that background and the petals. Okay. And then the center is Red Spice, which is a new color for this year for deco art. And then, but you can use burnt sienna. And then asphaltum. So a little bit of mix of those for the center. Okay. And then we have that sunset gold. We're going to come in now and layer some of that in between the petals. Find my angle brush. Hi, Anne. And Anne, and Parcher, and Burling. Thank you, Molly Ann. Okay, so in between the petals, so like I did on the pumpkin, remember how I showed you just to give ourselves some placement so that I know what petal I'm working on each time. I like to come in and float a little bit of color in between those petals, so I know that those are behind. I'm gonna have a little bit of shading back there. A little bit of shading in there. And there. Any that really lay right over each other. There. Now this is the one frame that I did find I got into quite a bit because everything is so close to it, you know, these petals. So easy to fix up with some black paint. Okay, we'll put a little bit between those. See how it starts to take some shape and some form for you. Okay, and then I'm also going to take that and float it right at the base of these petals. Again, that almost like I'm writing the letter C. Don't worry about the center color because it's going to get fixed up. Let's It's a beautiful golden color. It reminds me of the color marigold, but this one just has a really pretty finished color to it. That it's not dusty. Marigold used to be a little on the dusty side, I found. Okay, just get a little bit of that in. These petals get very little because, of course, you can't really see them, right? All right, let's rinse that out and dry. So Lisa, I'm using the Sunset Gold first, and then let's dry that. Okay, now I want to make those stand out even more. So I'm going to take some water in my brush, a little bit of asphaltum, work that in there on my palette. Okay, and I'm going to start with the ones in the back first. Where's my mop? And I am going to just soften it with a mop. And just bring it right into that center. Okay. So I tend to do in between the petals first, and then I'll come back and do at the base of those petals. And those will get another shaded as well on the other side. I feel like I'm being a wimpy floater right now. It's very light in color. There we go. I just want them to really look separated. Okay. That one, that one, that one, that one. All right, now let's go the opposite direction. Can't wait to share my trip with you guys. I'm hoping to be able to post a lot of pictures when I'm able to. And I think I'm taking an art class while I'm there. Not sure what day, but my brother-in-law asked me if I was interested in doing something, and I said that would be a lot of fun. Okay, so we've got it all between the petals. Now let's dry that. I love the way these look. Oh, thank you, Lynn. Let's rinse that out. A little bit more asphaltum. Again, work that in, kind of walk it over to the right just a little bit. We don't want it too dark. And then I'm going to come right down here at the base. Float some of that color. So you can do like, 3 or 4. And then maybe just take your mop and just softly tap over it. At the base of those. That's going to ground that flower center for us. Put it in its place. A little bit of brown. When you start to fight that paint, you need a little bit more water in your brush. that asphaltum is quite transparent. So when you layer that over that gold, that sunset gold, oh, just so pretty. Just love the way it looks. Again, tiny little, almost like I'm writing a U. Okay, let's dry that. No, Karen, no painting supplies for me. I am going to take a sketchbook and some pencils for the plane, but I have to say my longest flight I've ever been on is 14 and a half hours to Taiwan. And I always had grand plans all 6 years I went over there to do some art and stuff. And I don't sleep on a plane, so I tend to just watch movies because I have very little time to sit down and watch TV when I'm home anyway. So, okay, let's leave this alone for now and take care of this leaf. All right. So the leaf I want to show you for those that are aren't familiar with my packets. So I have step-by-step pictures, step-by-step instructions that show you and give you a good idea of what I'm doing. The leaf is done with antique green, and then we have our plantation pine out, so I'm going to get my 1/2 inch angle. For the art class I'm doing, Karen, it's water marbling, so I won't need to take anything for that. But I do like to take a sketch pad and pencil when I travel, just to jot down ideas, sketch out some ideas, especially when I'm waiting in the airport. So on that 1/2 inch angle, I'm picking up, you can see on the camera there, I'm picking up some plantation pine. Right. And I'm going to, oops, too much water. Going to float that right along that left side and then where it meets the petals. Okay. So just get that initial shading in. But it needs to be darker, so I'm going to still have plantation pine on that toe of that angle brush. I'm going to pick up some Payne's Gray, and I do like to work that in the same, oops, too much, like to work that in the same runway. So right there, and then just walk that out. Now when you do this, and you sit there and you are working your brush, and you're loading it up, guess what you're doing? You're taking more paint off it, and you're also taking some moisture out. So a tip I learned from Lana Lamb, which is an amazing tip. Take a blank brush, and clean brush, get it wet, put a couple drops of water on your palette. If I need a little more, I can always come in here with the heel of my brush and pick some of that up. Okay. I wouldn't put it that close to the puddle you're floating, but all right. And then I'm going to take that, let's go up the side of the leaf first. So that darker side. Get a little more of that dark. And then right along the base of that leaf. And this is where you can fix up some of those petals if you made them wonky or too straight. You want to give them a little movement. Put a little bit of that green, a little bit of that Payne's Gray. Make that leaf look like it's popping out from underneath that sunflower. Right? There's a light hitting it so you can see. Okay. Now let's rinse that out. My paint migrated. We'll get a little bit more plantation pine, Payne's Gray. Work that in. A little more water. Okay. And I'm going to slide and go flat and get that little center vein in. Soften it out. And I do feel like it could be a little darker right there. All right. Then I'm going to take on my toe of my brush, a little plantation pine, a little citron green, touch of warm white. Work that in somewhere on my palette. And the reason I added that plantation pine is I knew that the citron green was going to be a little too bright, but I do like to come back and pick up a little bit more. Plus, we're going to dry brush, so I'll put a little bit of that on that side of the stem. Totally agree with you, Robin. Nothing at all is better on TV than painting. And after doing my lives, after I paint with my membership group, I am always so fired up to continue to paint. So I was like, oh my God, I'm waiting to the last minute to get this last thing painted that I have to do before I leave. And am I going to feel like it? But I know I will when we get done today, because it always energizes me to paint more. Okay, so look at that little highlight, how that just bumps that part of that leaf out right there. Love it. Now let's dry it. And then I'm going to switch to my 3/8 angle. I really need to label these because right now, if you saw my water basin, they're all in my water basin. I can't find which one is which. There it is. Okay. Plantation pine, a little bit of Payne's gray on the toe of that brush. And you can use the angle brush or a liner brush, completely up to you. I'm trying to see which one I want to. I think I'm going to use a liner brush. That'd be easier. Get my hand out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. Plantation pine, Payne's gray on my liner brush. And I'm just going to paint curved little vein lines on both sides. And then let's dry brush it. Painting feeds my soul, absolutely. Absolutely. Right, Molly Ann, that water on the palette, big game changer for me too, years ago when I saw her do that. I love learning from other people, and of course, y'all know I love to share and teach. So I am noticing, I'm not going to worry about it, but I am noticing on my original, my leaf comes down to here, to that section, and I obviously did not put it in that section, but either way looks fine, right? That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so let's take some citron green, a little bit of bright yellow, and a little bit of warm white. Work that together on that small mezzaluna. We need a dry paper towel. I can tell I need more of that dry paper towel. And then in between each of these sections, I'm going to just dry brush a little bit of color. Okay, so just dry brush a little bit of color. Now, we don't want it that light over there. I'm going to show you how to fix it. Not that it's not fixed right now. I mean, it's the way I wanted it. Because when you do a wash over it, which we're going to do, it's going to tone that down. Oops, a little bit of water. We'll just do a little wash of that plantation pine only. Bright yellow, titanium white or warm white, doesn't matter. Work that in, wipe it off. We're going to highlight just this right side. Make it a little bit brighter. Okay. And then I'm going to come back in with my vein. Got lost right there. Just dry brush just a little. Okay, and then a little tiny curl on the end of that leaf, like that. Now, I did come back in with a small brush, so this is like a 4, little bit of water and a little bit of that purple. I'm just going to kind of put it on, mush it around with my finger. Put it on, mush it around with my finger. Love the coloring that gives that leaf. Okay. So, let me see if there's anything I need to. I put that loose line at the top. Oh, I have one there. Like I did on the pumpkin. So a little bit of plantation pine, little citron, little titanium white, inky consistency, meaning you have to have water in your brush, and we're just going to do a little decorative detail there on the leaf. Okay. And then right back to our sunflower. Okay. So we're going to come back in with our bright yellow. Let me get my angle brush. Smush it around. Fingers are your greatest tool. Absolutely. Thank you, Vicki. I appreciate that. Okay, so with my 3/8 angle, it has seen better days. I opened a brand new pack. I have no clue where I put them. But this is what happens when you leave them in the water. Don't leave them in the water. Our brushes are, they cost too much money to leave them in the water. And stupid me, I left them in the water. So, okay, so we're going to do some bright yellow, warm white. Work that in. Okay. A little bit more bright yellow. And I'm going with warm white because I don't want it to be so bright right now. But you can see there on the palette how I'm working that in on the toe of that brush only, right? Just swipe that right across that. Okay. And then I'm going to bring this right up that brighter highlighted side of that petal. So the heel has nothing on it. And look, the heel's down here. And it's going to bring that color right on the edge of that petal. Here you might get into a little bit of that black. If you do, don't fret. You can always fix it up. This one I have a little bit more there. This is just bright yellow and warm white. I will say I'm liking how bright this one is compared to my original. My original I feel like it got a little dark. Asphaltum can do that sometimes when you're shading it. Actually, the user can do that when they're shading it like I did. So get a little bit of a highlight. And then down here again, you can see a little bit more than I have on my original. So I am going to put just a little touch of a highlight maybe in between some of these so that you can see a separation of petal, but not too much detail. Okay, they would not have too much detail at all. And then this one has a little highlight there. All right, so let's rinse that brush out. Okay. Now, one thing I do love, let me pull this up and show you, these little lines. So, and you can see there's some orange in there. I did bring in some orange and floated that around some of the petals just to give them, like, warm them up a little bit. But I am going to take my Sunset Gold and a tiny, tiny touch of asphaltum. Just a tiny touch. Okay. And this is optional. I don't do it all the time. I do my sunflowers, but I do think it's pretty when it looks like they have a little bit of vein lines in them. So you can kind of, you know, slide up on that chisel just a little bit. Oh, I want a little more Sunset Gold. Okay, and then I just swipe it with my finger. So let me hold that up and show you the difference. Okay, so you've got just a little bit of natural looking veining, just sliding on the chisel edge of that brush. Okay. Let's see. That darkened them up a little as well, didn't it? Hello, Bev. Glad you got to pop in. Hello, Yvonne from Brisbane, Australia. Hope you're doing well. All right. So I can see already that I have more shading on my other, and I am going to come back with some asphaltum. And just lay in a little bit more shading between some of these areas. See how much more that stands out? Loose, loose, loose. If you're a really tight floater, a lot of times you might have a tight grip. Just loosen up on your grip a little. All right, let's add in some orange. It doesn't matter what orange you use. You could do, you know, tangerine or what was that, a jack-o'-lantern. That tiger lily is really pretty. I'm going to use a little bit of jack-o'-lantern on the toe of that brush. Just a little, just to add a little bit of warmth to this flower, especially right around here in the back. I remember I went to a Nancy Medina seminar. She was in Memphis, Tennessee, and that's where I'm from. And so I called my sister. I said, hey, I'm going to come paint with Nancy and I'll come visit you because I need to stay at your house. So anyway, but that was the first time I had ever seen anyone use orange like that, you know, at the base of the petals. That just, I don't know, just gave it some really pretty warmth and glow to that flower. And then we're going to take our, let's do a zero rigger or a liner brush, doesn't matter. It gives them a little more depth too. Yes, I agree. So we'll get some water in that, and we're going to come in and pick up a touch of bright yellow and white. Just make a nice little inky consistency. And we're just going to loosely put down a little tiny decorative line on one side of the petals only. Oops, okay, that's too thick. I'm going to switch to my liner brush because I'm a little heavy-handed there. I'm going to switch to my, you can do a 5/0 or a 10/0 or whatever liner brush you have that you like. Okay. If I struggle with any brush, it usually is finding the right liner for the job. And the Micron are very good. They're really nice and thin. And I don't know why I can't find them in my studio with all my brushes. They usually tend to get lost. Or they hide. So, little yellow, little white, work that in. I don't like that line right there. Let's see, what do I have that one? There. And then just ever so lightly, just to separate these, but I don't want them real bright. Just again, give it a little definition. Oops, missed one right there. I did it, it just didn't show up. It's nice just to put that tiny little, tip. So if you got a flat tip at the top, you can improvise and make it nice and have a nice little point on it. That little decorative touch. All right, let's do the center. And I'm going to take that 1/2 inch angle. So that Micron 5/0, let's see if that'll focus. 5/0. I also have, yeah, that's a 5/0. This one is a 10/0, and it looks almost the same, but the 5 is actually longer than the 10. Okay. All right, so with that angle brush, I'm gonna pick up a little bit of asphaltum on the toe only and a little bit of Payne's Gray. Let's work that in somewhere. So asphaltum, Payne's Gray. It's just a richer, deeper color. It's not black. So if you have black, you can always come in and add a little bit more asphaltum. But we just want to ground the bottom of this center. So again, little soft U-stroke motion. And then I'm just going to walk that up right over that center. Okay. To ground that a little bit. Let's dry that and do it again. I want to beef that color up. So instead of going in a half circle, which would manicure all those petals, I'm doing a slight little U-stroke, but then every now and then the toe is going to jet down in between these petals. Ever so slightly, and then I'll walk up some of that darker color. Okay, and then reload that, and then the center of your flower. So it's like this little C or U stroke right there in the center. I'm going to turn my hand so that you can see it. And that toe that has the color on is down. And I'm just going to continue to write the letter C and then just softly bring that up. And then I can soften it out along the top with that mop brush. Okay, so can you see how that just gives that flower a center? So Debbie, I do carry the 5 and the 15-aught on my website. Alrighty. Now let's dry brush a little bit. Shocker. So I'm going to come back to that medium mezzaluna, go into the white, into some of that bright yellow. I'm going to pick up just a touch of that sunset gold, white, bright yellow, and just a touch of that sunset gold. Wipe it off. And then I'm just going to dry brush a little bit of a highlight on. Okay, so let's do a little bit of a highlight. Then I like texture. I like the way, you know, like a sunflower center is just very kind of pockmarked. They have a beautiful pattern on some with green, and I just like there to be, instead of it being like flat, to have a little bit more texture. So I picked up the same colors, and I'm just going to come back and tap it now, just a little bit. Just, oh, too much. Let's wipe that off. Let's give it a little bit of a, okay. And if you get it too light, like I've done, simply go over it with a wash of asphaltum. So wash is more water to paint. Just get that right into, I want those orange bits to show, but maybe not as bright. We'll just tone that down just a little bit. Okay. Now the dots around the center, completely optional. I'm going to show you how I did mine. I need to fix up my little U again. It got lost. Alrighty. So the dots on the center, you don't have to have as many as I do. I did get a little carried away. But what works great for those is a stylus. And so I'm going to start out with some white and just randomly, random. Okay. If you go dot, 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 it's going to look better than if you go dot, 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 dot. First, that's going to take you forever. But it also will end up with a pattern, too much of a pattern. Okay, so you can just put some on that side. You can put a little on this side. You can just put it along the bottom, completely up to you. Then a little bit of black. I'm just going to do this one side because I'll get my hand in it since I'm on camera. I know I will. A little black. Okay. And then if you get, like I have a big blob of black right there, you can let it dry, or you can just come in and, you know, pop in a color to break it up, like that white. And then I did come back with bright yellow. And you can see on my finished one there on the left that I did go all the way around. Again, completely personal preference. And then a little bit of that bright yellow. This adds a nice little decorative touch. Okay. So, little darker shading, little less shading, but I still like it. That one got a little too dark for me, but again, you just adjust the next time you paint it. And then wherever there's, you know, messed up around the border, you can come back and clean it up. This is the only one I had to clean up. The other two were fine. But let's get those out. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. Again, they come like that. And then we have our blessed, grateful, and thankful. Okay. And you can hang it with twine, you can hang it with ribbon, you can put that on a mantle. These would be beautiful, I think, if you have people over for Thanksgiving or for the holidays, and, you know, put it on a present. If you're going to someone's house for Thanksgiving dinner, you could just do one, you know, and tie it on, I don't know, a casserole, a bottle of wine, whatever you take as your, you know, your gift to the host. So that one is on YouTube, recording from last week. And then, of course, the two we did today. And let me just look and see if there are any. Which post do we comment and share on? Right here, Vicky. Right here. So, Lucy said, sorry, I have to watch the replay. You won. Who won? Oh, Molly, and these would make beautiful RAKs. Yes, random acts of kindness. Yes, absolutely. Your company caused you to miss the first part. Oh, well, bummer. So, well, you know, it's recorded and you'll be able to watch it. So, all right, guys, let me see. I'm just going to come right back up here, but I want to look at your questions too. So, have a great trip. Enjoy your trip. Thank you, guys. I can't wait to share some really cool things with you, hopefully, when I get back. They would be beautiful placemats, Bev. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have to tell you guys, this is one of my main things when I teach and when I share what I love to do, which is this, is to get those ideas in your head going. So for you to be able to look at these and say, oh, that'd be a pretty RAK, you know, random act of kindness pin, or a tag, or a placemat, a tote bag. I mean, there's so many things you could paint this on. And for all of y'all that got the ePacket, thank you so much. I have to say, I think it's one of my best sellers right now. And I was thrilled. It was something that flew right off my brush. And I love when that happens, because it usually means that I'm going to love them. So anyway, thanks for remembering your beautiful queen. Oh, I know, Yvonne, so sad. So yes, I had to bring out my royal friends today. And anyway, so let's see if there's any other questions. I'm not seeing any questions at this time. If I missed any, I will try and go back. Oh, hello, Elizabeth. So, oh, the Saints won. You're a football freak. Okay. So I don't mind football. Yesterday was a more exciting day with the college football, right? And all the upsets. I love a good upset, unless it's my team that's beaten, which I really don't have a team. So, all right. So let's take one more look at those. One more look. I love the way they came out. I'm so glad you guys did as well. If you paint them, please share them with me. If you paint them on something else, please share them with me. I would love to see that. And when I get back, in 10 days, when I get back, I'm going to start sharing some things about OKC again with you guys. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, let me see if I can find the link on my screen here. OKC Painting Palooza. So Elizabeth Stoll and I are doing the opening special event, and I have the special event, and then I have 2 other classes. Fantastic convention. If you want to get together with some like-minded people that love to have fun and love to paint and create, and teachers that are passionate about sharing what they love to do, then this is the convention you're going to want to go to. Okay, so you can look it up there, and I hope to see you there. My next live is on the 25th. Not sure if we're going to paint anything or if it's just going to be a chit chat. Let me show you what I got in turkey thing. Okay. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for being here. I greatly appreciate you, and I feel like I'm on repeat. I greatly appreciate you. I'm thankful for you, and I'm very blessed that you guys tune in and watch and get the ePacket and all the other stuff, but just appreciate you being here. All right? Have a fantastic week. Get out those brushes, get out that paint, and do something creative for yourself, for your soul, and just have fun. All right? Talk to y'all later. Bye.